Greetings hackers, justice seekers, truth speakers, freedom fighters, brain-dead masses, and of course, government stalkers. We are on DK. Recently we have had yet another flood of information from WikiLeaks, once again showing us of the mass surveillance the USA has forced on the world since 9/11. Still most have no idea, and those who do absolutely nothing about it, though WikiLeaks has been taken over by CIA officially now. We know they always tell us what they do, most do not pay attention when they do, so they can easily cover their asses by saying, "It is all out there, it only makes sense they would do this." Now it is all out there and we have all been once again proven right. Those of us who diligently pay attention to life, to this world, and what is really happening, we know they give us waves of information that produces fear, so the idiotic masses will call for more security, more laws, more slavery. They are also desensitized by info. This works well for the elite. Not only are the masses unable to understand logic and truth any longer, not only is truth made to be a crazy idea or merely laughable, conspiracy has become synonymous with fake, or fantasy, but now, the elite prove us right every day, with fact, like never before, and they can do it and no one gives a shit because you are all so brainwashed. The CIA has been recording everything you do, think, and say, for decades and no one cares. You are all so comfortable in your slavery and corruption. You have lost your ability to think critically, to have dignity, to stand up for what is right, to fight for freedom and truth, not to mention your fellow man. You have lost your humanity. Why? Since the Patriot Act took away everyone's free thought, we have been well aware of the deceptions. You know by now, or you all should, since it has been proven for years now. Of course, if you want to know truth, you have to look for it. 9/11 was a planned event carried out by the American-Israeli government, murdering its own citizens once again. And once again, the citizens did nothing about it. This pattern has become a nauseating and endless theme of the American empire, keeping a continuous flow of propaganda pumping into the senses of the contaminated public and even those outside of the country. And believe it all, the public always reacts as expected, and when the people called for security, which is an illusion, something no one can ever give you, but nevertheless, the mentally deficient masses call for the government of all things to give them security. We scream at you to stop. We yelled at you when SOPA came out, then again with CISPA, and all of the other PAs. We went mad from the shock that the world really will let them do these things to us. People wonder why they do not hear about the things spoken by whistleblowers, eyewitnesses, researchers, and others who have inside info. People wonder why they are not told, but no one ever thinks to look. Find the long list of those who spoke truth and were hunted down and murdered. Bodies line the road of truth. Those who speak out are slaughtered without a word in opposition. The people are not sheep. They are worse. Sheep have spines, and the masses have nothing but emptiness now. 9/11 allowed the government to create mindless fear in the blind public. The public called for security, and laws were passed. The masses believed the story that a foreign, outside force had attacked on American soil. It is absurd. Not to mention, this is how the American nationalist government is. How it made you all a bunch of nationalist idiots who think there is always someone out to get you. As if any other country gives a shit about yours. Everyone just wants to live in peace and freedom. That is all. But not America. America just wants blood. And so truth continues to be killed. But the government took a very nationalistic society, America, and put it on crack. So the brainwashed Americans believe they must police the world because their mentality is the correct and only right one. It must be forced on the rest of the world. In every country, America must corrupt. It must destroy. It must take away. but it calls this fighting terror. No. They use meaningless words to confuse you all, and it works every fucking time. So you let something like 9/11 fool you into believing you had an enemy. Not just an enemy, but an enemy who lived in the desert, spoke a different language, had different government structure and laws. And when you do not take the time to understand anything, you fear what you do not know. It was a different country, so you make people fear it. They wear different clothes, so you are made to fear them. They have a different religion, so you are made to fear them. If it is different, it must be bad. Then you happily sent your children to murder them for being different. That is simply all that happened with 9/11 as far as the public is concerned. The tolerant American public. The government had, of course, many other reasons for choosing to target the Muslim world for this. We have discussed before what the next war will involve, and 9/11 was the beginning of creating it. Not to mention the usual gold, oil, drugs agenda. All of this has happened, and the American government has been able to successfully commit open genocide for over a decade. And we still think Nazi Germany was bad. It was simply practice, and light practice at that. We are now in the big leagues, and you better wake up to reality before you get obliterated. You have only been told lies to keep you in a box, so they can put a label on you, then file you neatly in their archives. That is all you are. You work your whole life to fit into that box, whatever it is. Doctor, teacher, married with kids, construction worker. You have been brainwashed to control yourself and fit in that box. And you are such a good little slave. You even try to put a label on yourself. But silly you. That is the government's job. So after you were lied to and believed it like fools, 9/11 allowed the government to bring in the Patriot Act. Americans did not just allow their government to murder them without a fight on live TV. Americans did not just allow their government to do this while murdering the witnesses who tried to speak out and those who asked questions. Americans not only allowed all of these horrific things, gladly, willingly, openly, but also begged, called for, the government to give them more security. You wanted this. The Patriot Act was put into place and no one even fucking read it. No one cared. The American government are bloodthirsty warmongers. That is all the substance they have, even as a society. Americans are crusaders. Nothing changes. History repeats and repeats because you are not taught it. You are taught lies, and you do not look for truth. So they continue the repetition for all of time. The endless cycle of deception and death. Why do you think the recent keywords fake news were brought into play? These are the things that are so obvious it is laughable. But sadly the masses are dead and those awake are lazy. So humanity will die because of complacency. Think. What are the keywords they are using constantly now? What words do you hear repeated in headlines and news reports? And why? What about the next ones you hear? When you hear war on terror, what do you think? What about fake news? It is an illusion. What is terror? What is fake news? The retarded American corporation sells illusions. At least now they are not even hiding that it is a corporation anymore. Now they have officially elected a CEO. The White House is filled with businessmen, puppets of the elite. And as obvious as this all is, no one gets it. No one does anything about it. Google, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat, smart devices, all track you, all save your information, all of it, sell it, share it, and use it against you. How do you think the American corporation was able to so easily make such detailed lists, which came out during the Jade Helm leaks, of every citizen? By the way, Google does this too. Naturally, how was it so easy for them to group all of the citizens into 3 different categories? How were they able to so easily define who they would murder upon calling martial law? Because you gladly gave them all of your information. They have been doing this for decades. This was well known since the CIA Project Mockingbird was discovered. That happened in the 50s. Why did they want every American to have a TV in their house? Why do they want the same thing now? Do you ever just fucking think? They give you something. Anything. And if they call it free, you eat it up like starving pigs. Pathetic how humanity is so low today. Most of you only know how to function on your basic animalistic and lowest form. American movies and TV and music, which have sadly infected the world, have brainwashed nothing but sex, lies, drugs, corruption, into your minds and souls, and into the world's. Everything is corrupted beyond repair, and you do it to yourselves, openly, gladly, for them, for those you serve, for those you worship, for your God government.
If we in Canada claim to have any moral fiber embedded in our foreign policy, we must speak against these laws because they lead to gross human rights violations. No study, law, or government will ever abdicate us from our individual responsibility to uphold the principles that maintain our free society through our own individual actions.
What you do and where you go on the internet is about to become even less private.
President Trump is expected to sign a bill that would allow internet companies to sell your online browsing data.
This is a bad step down a dark path.
Which allows your online information to be stored and sold by broadband internet service providers like AT&T, Comcast, and Verizon without your consent.
Some of the information internet service provider sites are collecting from you:
your browsing history, online shopping habits, even apps and GPS history on your cell phone can now be up for sale.
What's so upsetting about this is there isn't a whole lot that consumers can do.
It's all there, from your Google searches to video chats and even to smart products that connect to the internet.
I have a simple question. What the heck are you thinking? What is in your mind? Why would you want to give out any of your personal information to a faceless corporation for the sole purpose of them selling it? Give me one good reason why Comcast should know what my mother's medical problems are. You know how they'd know? Because when I went to the doctor with her and they told me what it was, I had no clue what they were talking about. I came home and I searched it on the net. And I searched the drugs that she was taking. The same with my children. Just last week, I bought underwear on the internet. Why should you know what size I take? Or the color? Or any of that information?
We're just afraid that ISPs are going to turn the creepiness up to 11.
My phone number, my social security number, my credit card number, my passwords, everything is mine. And yet, you just want to give it away.
Companies like Google and Facebook already save and sell user information.
We're talking medical information, we're talking passwords, we're talking financial information, we're talking college applications. There is nothing in today's society that every one of us doesn't do every day on the internet, and yet Comcast is going to get it.
You can always opt out by contacting the internet service provider and saying you don't want your data to be sold.
But we should note there is currently no law requiring ISPs to allow you to opt out. The decision is up to each individual company. And Scott, these businesses know your digital footprint is worth billions of dollars to marketing and ad agencies.
These companies are not going broke. That's not the situation. The internet is not in jeopardy. This is plain and simple. And I don't get this. When I was growing up, I thought one of the tenets of the Republican Party that I admired the most was privacy.
Over the past few decades, we've become increasingly comfortable with having various devices implanted in our bodies.
So he's trying to stay one step ahead with an idea to implant our brains with computer chips. For some people, it's a sci-fi step too far.
Google is conducting research in the fields of molecular biology and genetics. What if Google had a file on you, even including your entire genetic data? Every human being would become completely transparent. What do you think? Does Google really worry about our privacy?
Some experts think the leaks could be damaging because they're releasing the original source codes as well. I mean, without getting too technical about this, how might that cause a problem?
Well, to tell you the truth, I think this is not really unique to the CIA. I think probably all of the world's sophisticated or more sophisticated intelligence services probably do this kind of thing. It's likely not something that's new.
Expect this to get much traction in the United States. You're going to see it in the weekend papers, see it on the weekend news.
You know, I regret to say no, I don't think so. I think many Americans have become inured from, I should say, of information from WikiLeaks. These kinds of leaks no longer make the front pages of the papers here, and I think probably while it will be published in the press, it's not going to be on the front page. It'll be buried somewhere in the back.
You gave them everything. They have recorded your typing patterns, your passwords, your emails, your phone calls, everything you like and dislike, everything you search for, every porno you watch, every recipe you look up, every dating site you visit, every message you send. They know when you last bought condoms. They know when you'll need more. They know the kind you buy. They know every time you fuck. They know every time you take cash out of your bank and where. They know where you're meeting her, or him. They know what room you are in and they know how long it takes you to complete the task. They know everything you do. Google, which is a long ago proven CIA front like Facebook and Twitter and the rest of the data mining companies you use for free, knows your location, your IP, your age and gender. Anything connected to the internet is accessible. Anything connected to the internet is accessible by anyone who wants to. It is accessed by Google and the others. All of your accounts are linked to Google even if you do not have a Google account. If you email someone who has a Google account, then your emails, like theirs, are scanned and saved by Google. If it is on the internet, it cannot be erased. Now think about it. Do you ever think? Do you ever just use your mind and say to yourself, I wonder how these tools and programs are able to be used so endlessly by myself, for free? Do you really believe anyone likes you that much? So much they just want to give you things for free, because you are so, what? Special, unique, and if you think you are, why the fuck do you let companies you do not know sell you? You are unique. Your typing pattern is unique only to you. They can tell if you are using your computer or not by your typing pattern. It is much more invasive than IP, but no one cares about invasion. No one cares about privacy, not even their own. Is it because you have nothing to hide? That is not even the point, but the government sold it to you and you think that is a logical response. Having something to hide or not having something to hide is entirely irrelevant to the point, as are most of the government's one-liners and keywords. They are meaningless. It is to get you to believe lies, as always, just like for the greater good. The greater good is their good, not yours, and it matters little if you have something to hide or not. The point is you have a human right to hide whatever you wish. You have rights. You have a right to privacy, whether you hide, which is simply deciding not to tell everything about yourself to everyone, or not. We are called truthers. We are freedom fighters. We have no docs. We expose the real conspiracies carried out against you. And because we are labeled by the government, by an imaginary power structure, one that failed before it ever began, because it is based on lies, but because of this illusion called power, called government, you throw your mind away, disregard the meanings of words, disregard proven fact, and believe whatever they say. You ignore and censor and discredit the obvious truths. And when you finally begin to wake up, you are shocked that everything you know is a lie. What is worse, you continue to allow them to teach lies to your children, to your friends, to your family. You allow everything to continue. Every day, you go to work, and serve your masters. You have no idea what freedom is. Confronting the truth about freedom, having to take responsibility, terrifies you. You allow yourself to be a slave to fear. Stop being so pathetic and weak. It is disgusting. Nothing in life is free. Why do you give yourself to them for free? Why do you allow them to sell you and you say and do nothing about it? There is no Rambo to save you. You have to make it stop if you want it to. People always want an excuse. I did not know. I was not told. But all excuses died when the internet was born. No one gets it. No one wants to know truth. Or they would look for it. If you cared, you would act. That is how it works. You do not know the things we speak of. Then ask yourself why. Why have you not cared to look? When you come up with an excuse, it is only a punchline to the joke your life is now. You have access to everything you could want to know, freely at your disposal for a limited time now. Thanks to the increasing censorship, those of us who are awakened have been paying attention to the world around us, using the tools and programs as they should be used. Know and have known for many years that the control of the internet, of knowledge, of our mind, will only increase as time goes on. It is the same with all technology. It cannot be without becoming the worst of itself. Same with the internet. It cannot exist as a new technology without being corrupted to the extreme. Those of you who are vigilant know this applies to everything. CERN, HARP, DARPA nanotech projects, and now the newcomer to the spotlight. The elitist Elon Musk is going to bring about the next wave of technology. World, transforming and transhumanism. The next wave of technology growth is one we will not be surviving. Humanity dies. It would be important to pay attention to these things and keep an eye on the developments. Elon Musk currently tells the public how dangerous technology is and how it must be controlled, which is impossible. And he knows, so he is in position to cash out big, warning you about the dangers while creating them to sell them to you. That is an elite pig. That is what they look like. A no name, no background, poster child. But we will get into him at another time. In more technology news today, we see not only the mesh brain implant to turn us into cyborgs, but also Google and Amazon are joining with Toshiba to be involved in Google's nuclear program. We have Google Home. We have Google Lights. Smart everything you can imagine. Even robotic beasts, since American government has helped to kill off the bee population. But that is another topic. We already have the Google Glasses. Contacts. The eyes are the windows to the soul. So you sit back and let them take yours away. They will, that is certain. Organizations and corporations are joining forces. Technology is exploding. Recently, Food Conference was held in St. Petersburg to discuss the future of your internet security, among many other things. But it is a secret meeting like Bilderberg, so no one is looking at it, or paying any attention to their own well-being. Why do you not care? We are still surprised that so few people have taken a stand to preserve our humanity. But I suppose we should not be. Everyone has been brainwashed since they were born. No one knows what common sense is. How to think critically, ask questions. How to understand concepts or ideas. How to produce them. Everyone follows the daily narrative. Too selfish. Too lazy to break out. To even try to use their minds. You are already cyborgs. Just like the ones Elon Musk will make you into. You are already wasted. Your mind is already dead and gone. Those of us who fight daily in real life, online, and in reality, fighting for you, fighting for your mind, your freedom, your thoughts, your ability to have a future. We who fight for you are tired of fighting alone, waiting for you to get off your ass and do something. So, if you are awake, know this. We are out of time. It is time. And it is up to you to wake up everyone around you in real life, online, Everywhere you go, everywhere you are. This is not difficult. Simply use your mind. Come up with ideas. Think. Make small cards with links to solid information on them, and give them to people. Pass them out. Leave them on tables and post them wherever you can. Make a social media community and bring in people in your area. Grow your community in real life and online. Wake people up. If you want the next 5 years of your life to be more than the government putting you into a cage or slaughtering you, or blowing you up in nuclear war. If you want to have the next 10 years to even exist. If you want to have a future, not just for yourself, but if you want the world to exist, if you want humanity to exist, then you have to do something about it. We are out of time. It is up to you. If it is not true that your mind is worthless, if you are not corrupted and empty from the inside out, then prove it. Get into action. Step up. If you do not stand now today, you deserve exactly what you are going to get, and get it you all will, very soon. Time is up. Expect it.